Anderson Kriegel.
Hundreds have come by the memorial today to pay their respects to the victims of the San Bernardino Elementary School shooting. I'll have the latest on the investigation coming up.
White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer issues an apology after making inflammatory comments in a comparison between Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and Adolf Hitler.
And Greece is home to an estimated 62,000 Syrian refugees. We'll talk to a USC student who visited one of those camps.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Another memorial is planned tonight at North Park Elementary School in San Bernardino. Good evening, I'm Juliet Muir.
And I'm Brad Stryker. This comes just one day after the estranged husband of one of the school's teachers is suspected of killing his wife and an 8-year-old student. Our reporter Kaylee Heck spent the day in San Bernardino and she's live at the vigil now. Kaylee, what's it like over there?
It's been a very somber day here at North Park Elementary School in San Bernardino after yesterday's deadly shooting. Hundreds of people have been coming by this memorial back here, leaving flowers, cards, and notes, all in honor of the victims that lost their lives yesterday. Now, police are still working to figure out just exactly what happened, but here is what we do know about this murder-suicide. Police say that 53-year-old Cedric Anderson opened fire in a special education classroom. He hit the teacher and 2 students before turning the gun back on himself. Now, he was allegedly targeting his wife, who was that teacher, Karen Smith. Smith and one of those students did lose their lives from their injuries. Now, Anderson and Smith got married back in January and had a separation in mid-March. Police say that Smith left to go live with relatives at that point in time. Now, Anderson had 4 previous arrests for domestic violence and theft. His family released a statement to KTLA today saying, quote, "To the families connected, my heart is truly heavy, and if I could bring your loved ones back, please know that I would go to the end of the earth and give my last breath trying." San Bernardino police said today that Anderson may have left a note possibly threatening his estranged wife before yesterday's shooting.
I will confirm that investigators did find a note that we believe to be his, not completely confirmed, but we believe to be his, that talked about some things that needed closure, feeling disrespected, just that type of stuff, but nothing that would be specifically identified as a suicide note.
Now, one of those 2 students who were hit by gunfire is identified as Jonathan Martinez. He was 8 years old and airlifted to the local hospital where he later died from his injuries. A GoFundMe account was set up in his honor to help his family pay for things like funeral expenses. In just 24 hours, it has already exceeded the $60,000 mark. Now, the other student who was hit by gunfire, police have identified as a 9-year-old boy, but they did not release his name. What we do know about him is that he is in good spirits and in stable condition. Now, classes won't be held at North Park Elementary School until at least Monday, and up here on the soccer field behind me, they're currently setting up for a candlelight vigil that's expected to start at 7 o'clock tonight. I spoke with officials who told me that they are wanting to see between 300 and 1,500 people here. We'll bring you the latest as this developing story continues, but for now, live in San Bernardino, Kaylee Heck, USC Annenberg Media.
All right, thank you so much, Kaylee. One member of a German soccer team is injured after the team bus was rocked by 3 nearby explosions in the town of Dortmund.
Our international news anchor Barbara Estrada spoke to a fan who was at the stadium for the game against Monaco. What can you tell us?
Well, 3 explosives may have been hidden in a bush near the team's hotel. A prosecutor says a letter claiming responsibility was found near the site, but she would not reveal what it said. Fans from both sides chanted the name of the soccer team when they heard what happened. Many tweeted their concern for the injured player, Mark Bartra. The game was postponed, and some German fans from the opposing team offered a bed for those needing a place to stay with the hashtag #BedForAwayFans.
It was the first tweet for Frank that that hosts us tonight in this beautiful spot. So it will be really a nice story, and we were really lucky to meet him.
And the game is scheduled for tomorrow. Brad, back to you.
The White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer apologized today after saying Syrian President Bashar al-Assad is worse than Adolf Hitler. Spicer incorrectly claimed that unlike Assad, Hitler did not use chemical weapons on his own people. This remark comes 5 days after the U.S. launched an airstrike against Syria in response to Assad's use of chemical weapons against its citizens.
You know, you had someone as despicable as Hitler who didn't even sink to using chemical weapons. I think when you come to sarin gas, he was not using the gas on his own people the same way that Assad is doing.
Since his original comment this morning, Spicer said drawing this parallel was a mistake and was inappropriate. A leaked report from a White House official hinted at the possibility Russia attempted to cover up Assad's chemical attacks on his own citizens. Spicer walked back these claims earlier this afternoon at the Daily Briefing.
Does the administration believe that Russia had any advanced knowledge of this chemical attack in Syria? And does the administration believe that Russia may have been complicit in this attack?
I believe there was a background briefing earlier today where that was discussed. At this time, there's no consensus in the intelligence community that that's the case.
The United Nations Refugee Agency estimates over 5 million Syrians have fled their country since the beginning of the civil war. Many of these refugees go to Greece. Annenberg Media's Lauren Day recently traveled to the European country, where an estimated 62,000 refugees are living, according to the International Rescue Committee.
The sound of a sewing machine is familiar to Kais Amiri. In his home country of Afghanistan, Amiri made men's suits and dresses.
Tailors. In Afghanistan, I'm tailor. I'm making for women dress, pants.
But after fleeing war-torn Afghanistan, he's sewing bags in a refugee camp in Inofita, Greece. His goal, to get his family to France or Germany.
In Afghanistan, I have problem. I'm not leaving.
But now Amiri and over 500 other refugees are living at Do Your Parts camp an hour outside of Athens. And it's all because of Lisa Campbell, who left her life and family in Virginia to help people like Amiri.
I literally thought I would go home in 45 days and maybe come back every now and then and do some things, but the more we were here, the deeper we got, the more we realized this is huge.
Huge because there are over 62,000 refugees living in Greece.
They're people. They're human beings. And Greece got asked to do a really hard thing.
And some might say Campbell is doing a hard thing too. But growing up in a Mormon household made it a no-brainer to give back.
I was raised believing that we are all children of the same God. And I wholeheartedly believe that.
Now she's helping others have a life in the camps.
Thank you. Campbell tells me what's unique and different about this camp is that the people who come here, they're not refugees, but residents and part of this community.
Whether it's 2 weeks or 2 years, you're a resident of Inofita. You're a part of this community. That's a hard thing to get through their heads because they want to move on.
Move on because they say living in a camp is not a home.
In here, there's no certain future for us. There's no hope.
Kais Amiri tells me the hardest part is missing his family.
My mom, my father, my 2 small brother and small sister.
Nevertheless, they are thankful for Campbell.
Lisa is very kind. Lisa is good for us. If Lisa was not here, we would not be able to stay here. She's very helpful to us.
Campbell wants the world to know these people are just like you and me.
They're not the terrorists. They're running from the terrorists.
Campbell says she will continue to help lift them up and seek asylum. In Inofita, Greece, for Annenberg Media, I'm Lauren Day.
Now, Justin Lee is one of the 9 USC students who spent spring break in Greece, but they weren't there to soak up the sun. They were volunteering at a refugee camp. Justin is here to talk to us about what he saw. Justin, thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, of course. So I went over there with a group of 8 other students, and we really didn't know what to expect. We saw a lot of things on the internet, just videos and pictures of what a refugee camp would be like. But when we first got there, a lot of us were really passionate about the Syrian refugee crisis, and that's what we thought we were mainly going to be working on. But it turns out they only amounted to be a certain percentage of the camp, and a majority of them were actually from Africa, other parts of the Middle East, and from Asia as well. You know, just like you see online, just you can imagine a room that's supposed to be made for about 4 people. There'd be like up to 30 people crammed into one room. Most of them, however, were living in tents, and these tents were provided by like the UN, organizations such as Euro Relief. And yeah, just one of the most impactful things that I heard was from refugee that a shared sentiment amongst all of them is that whether you go to prison or jail, you kind of know when your sentence is going to end or whether you're not going to make it out at all. But when you're at a refugee camp, because the application process and the interview process is so tedious, they really don't have no idea when they're going to leave.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I know you had long shifts during your time on the island of Lesbos. Why did you decide to spend your spring break in the island volunteering?
So, you know, when everyone does their spring break, to each their own. I just didn't want to go do, you know, I guess something that everyone else was doing. And in college, there's like vacations that give us time to give back. That's something that I don't really see myself having the time to do when I'm older. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to go with my close friends to go just volunteer and see what this refugee crisis was all about, because I think seeing it for firsthand is really impactful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess last question would be, was there a moment while you were in the camps that you'll forever remember and that it was just like a takeaway for you?
Just seeing some of the refugees, and you know, there were a variety of emotions that were shared amongst them. A lot of them were sad, a lot of them were happy, but most of them were sharing some kind of shared frustration. And even though all they had to look forward to was just waking up, eating 3 meals a day and going back to bed, there were refugees that decided to even volunteer and help us out with distributing aid and food. Mm-hmm. So that just came to show that a lot of these people, you know, they all have a lot to look forward to, and that they're just wanting to pick up their lives and go forward. It's just a matter of when they're going to be able to get out of there.
Well, thank you so much, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Barbara. The LA County Board of Supervisors voted to recognize a tragic time in Southeast Asian history, acknowledging one of the largest minority communities in Los Angeles County.
And we're live at the scene of yesterday's school shooting here in San Bernardino, ahead of tonight's candlelit vigil. More coming up.
Sea lions across Southern California are getting sick. Coming up next, I'll tell you why.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up? Oh, we finally bought a place. Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on... Is it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
That's low. That's low.
Look, he's blushing.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Welcome back to ATVN. We're going back to San Bernardino, where Jake and Gracia is live at North Park Elementary, where a candlelight vigil will start shortly. Jake, what can you tell us about how the community is coping with the aftermath of this tragedy?
Bringing gifts here to the memorial at North Park Elementary School in memory of that 8-year-old student and special education teacher killed in yesterday's attack. Now, parents and students I spoke with here tell me, although it's a sad day, the community is already coming back stronger than before.
All I remember is just I heard gunshots.
Second grader Jeffrey Imbriani was in a classroom just a few doors down from yesterday's shooting.
My teacher, she was running.
His grandpa brought him back today to help process and understand the attack.
I thought it was important to get him down here today to see that his school is safe.
Other families returning to the elementary school too, bringing flowers, stuffed animals, and lighting candles in memory of the lives lost.
Come together and support the community, the family who lost loved ones.
Residents uniting in solidarity.
The kids need to feel our love, okay? No more negative.
Joining in prayer circles.
Amen.
And fighting for resilience.
Yesterday was a scary and frightening day for them, but I believe today is a day of strength.
An emotional day for residents here in San Bernardino, but they say they are determined to stay strong. Now a candlelit vigil is expected to get underway here on the soccer field at North Park Elementary School in just 30 minutes or less. Officials tell us they're expecting anywhere from 300 to 1,500 people to attend, and people have already begun showing up, cars drifting in, making their way over from the memorial. Live in San Bernardino, I'm Jake Ingracia, USC Annenberg Media.
Thanks, Jake. The LA County Board of Supervisors declared April 17th Cambodian Genocide Remembrance Day. The Cambodian genocide was carried out under the Khmer Rouge regime. About 2 million people were executed or died from starvation or disease.
We know from the lovely communities of our Cambodians that now reside, their spirits are resilient, their spirits are strong, they are a persevering, dedicated community.
Nearly 158,000 Cambodians migrated to the U.S. during the Khmer takeover. Long Beach houses about 17,000 Cambodian residents, which is half of LA's total Cambodian population. California has the largest number of Cambodians in the country at about 70,000. Cambodian residents have acknowledged genocide remembrance for the last 2 years, but now it will be officially recognized by LA County. The initiative was headed by 4th District Supervisor Janice Hahn.
The USC Environmental Student Assembly hosted a fair today to update the community on how its 2020 sustainability plan is doing. One member talked about what students can do to make campus greener.
One of the most important things, I think, is really trying to increase engagement with sustainability activities on campus, because if all the members of our USC community are thinking with a sustainability lens in mind, then we're going to see a lot more change rather than a top-down approach where we're trying to enforce certain changes on different departments and things like that.
Members of the Environmental Assembly say the goal for 2030 is to rely even more on recycled water and to further reduce USC's dependence on fossil fuels. All right, now let's take a look to the weather ahead this weekend.
Right, thank you, Brad and Juliet. You're working on those final projects and studying for exams. Well, take a moment to go outside because the weather today is absolutely lovely. Right now, we're looking at 67 degrees with a tiny bit of wind. Now let's check out the mountains. The sun is warming up Big Bear. We're looking at 59 degrees and high 70s, mid 70s around the area. Well, tomorrow might not be the best day for a walk on the beach. We're looking at 65 degrees in Malibu, but it will be pretty windy. Same forecast for Simi Valley and Thousand Oaks. Now closer to campus, it will be 73 degrees. The sun will be shining down on you and your review notes. Now here comes your 5-day forecast. It will be sunny throughout the week except for Thursday. There's a slight chance that it will rain in the morning. The weekly temperatures are in mid-70s and low at mid-50s. So this morning I went to the aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach to meet some very cutesy creatures. These sea lions at the aquarium, they are very well taken care of, but some of their relatives living in the ocean are not that lucky. Marine mammal rescue centers are seeing an increasing number of sea lions poisoned by an algae bloom. The algae produces a toxin called domoic acid. Fish feed on these algae and sea lions get food poisoning after eating those fish.
With domoic acid poisoning is you'll see some strange behavior from a sea lion that's affected by it. It can be as small as just some head tics or movements of the neck, or it can be something that really just looks like miniature seizures.
Marine life experts say if you see a sea lion acting strangely, don't approach the animal and call the nearest marine mammal rescue center. Well, it's so sad that to see those cute sea lions being poisoned. I'm so sad.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you so much, Almond. Looks like good weather for Coachella, which is this weekend, and the festival is looking to bring over $700 million to the Indio area. And while Coachella is about relaxing and listening to music, the festival isn't all that chill about its brand. The company that puts on Coachella is suing Lowell Farms, a cannabis-growing company that created a Coachella-branded pack of pre-rolled joints. A month ago, the festival organizers sued Urban Outfitters for selling Coachella-branded clothing in its Free People stores. This year alone, organizers sued hundreds of companies, including the creator of a small-scale music festival who called it Hoodchella.
You know, it's a little empty up here at the desk. Where's Nathan?
Yeah, I think I see him over there lounging with Terrence. What are you guys up to?
Hey guys, don't worry. We're just hanging on the big comfy couch today, and we're going to play a little game of Q&A on hockey and football. So first, we'll take a look at the LA Kings, who made some big moves yesterday.
Then we'll take a look at some USC football with the spring game coming up this weekend. Stick around, sports are next.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef, all for free, ladies and gentlemen, all for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. That was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Welcome back to ATVN. Terrence Davis and I are here to talk about some hockey because the Stanley Cup playoffs start tomorrow and it's shaping up to be another thrilling postseason. Unless you're an LA Kings fan. The Kings are not in the playoffs and they just fired both head coach Daryl Sutter and general manager Dean Lombardi. Today the team held a press conference to discuss the big change. So let's take a look at what the president of AEG, the company that owns the Kings, had to say.
Bar is set extremely high. And this business is about success, and we have not met our goals the last 3 years.
Together, Lombardi and Sutter won LA's first ever Stanley Cup in 2012, and they won it all again just 2 years later. They've only made the playoffs once since then, and last year only took one game from San Jose before falling in the first round. So Terrence, my question for you is, do you think they made the right move?
Yes, Nathan, they made the right move. Recent success is the only job security in sports these days. Sutter was the winningest coach for the Kings franchise, and Dean Lombardi was the longest tenured GM and helped the Kings win their 2 Stanley Cups. However, the team has not been to the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years, and they haven't won a playoff series since 2014 when they did win that Stanley Cup. It's a what have you done for me now league, and the Kings haven't done much of anything, so it was time for a change.
So I know it's tough when you get a new coach and a new GM. How long do you think fans will have to wait before they see the Kings start winning again?
So the fans are actually going to have to wait a while for the Kings to get good again. First, the Kings need to hire a coach and one that's suitable for the playing style in the NHL today. Teams are faster and more athletic. The teams have old veterans, which brings to which brings to the second point. The Kings need to get younger and they need to get fresher. One thing about Dean Lombardi is he would sign long-term contracts with fading veterans, which has hampered the team right now. So they really need to get younger players.
All right, so we'll see how the Kings do next season. But let's come back to campus for a sec because it's almost game day. Well, sort of. USC's spring game is this Saturday, and this is the first time fans will get a look at this new team. It is just a scrimmage, but the team is excited to play again in the Coliseum.
Anytime that we walk into that Coliseum, our expectations of our execution raise each and every time. So I don't think next season puts that pressure on you. It's when you walk in that stadium, you expect to play extremely well.
And they're not the only ones who are excited. I'm excited. You're excited. Fans are excited. There are high hopes for this team. Do you think their fans are going to be impressed by what they see on Saturday?
Fans are always impressed with USC football, but I feel like there's so much surprise going around with this team, so much angst and anxiety, so much going on with this team right now. They are coming off a win against Penn State, which was a huge victory going into last season. All the eyes are going to be on Sam Darnold, who had a fantastic end to last season, and so he's a front runner for the Heisman. So it's a big year for USC. Fans should be really excited to see what they have in store.
All right, so we'll see how the Trojans do on Saturday and how they do during the season in the fall. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Nathan. Well, something strange came out of the sky last night across the Southland.
Find out what it is after the break.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Last night, the Southern California sky was lit up by a meteor. Residents said they saw a bright green light in the sky. Some say they thought it was a plane crash. The meteor fell around 9 p.m. last night and was seen from Santa Barbara to San Diego. Some people saw the flash of light as far away as Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico. The American Meteor Society has received 420 sighting reports about the event so far. And I hear that you actually saw it as well, didn't you?
Yeah, it was really cool. I was driving home last night and I looked up and there was a huge flash in the sky, and I was like kind of freaked out. I thought it was a plane crash too, so I'm glad that we got that cleared up today.
But you really thought it was a spaceship.
But I really thought it was you.
Obviously me, just shooting across the sky. No worries. Did either of you two see it?
You're green. Well, I've never seen something like that, so I don't know.
Got it.
Missed it?
That's too bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, from everybody here, thank you for watching Annenberg TV News. I'm Brad Stryker.
And I'm Juliette Muir. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.